Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Roll20 presents Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So, Rin, you've been waiting a long time for this conversation. You've been waiting to have this talk for a while.
I want to talk to this bird.
So we'll fade in on you, and you're in
Anybody else
your
coming to talk to this bird with
room.
me, or am I by myself? No? Okay.
Yeah. So you're in your
All right.
room,
Yeah.
and there is a large black feathered bird sitting on. You don't have any furniture. Like everybody's sleeping on the floor and stuff.
Pretty much.
So
Yeah,
it's like
bedroom.
sitting on the mantelpiece of your fireplace, and it just kind of looks at you, and you come in like, "What are you doing?"
I'm I got to cast Speak with Animals, so I can do it as a ritual. So I've got a little bit of time. I can do it in 10 minutes. Sort of set things up and
So you get that look the whole 10 minutes. That like,
yeah, like what are you up to?
the
I'm
hell's
watching
going on
you,
over
kind
here?
of bird head tilting look. Yeah. And after that she like stands back up, having like been concentrating, like cross-legged, and walks over to the mantelpiece.
Okay.
And or where the raven is perched.
Okay.
And when she speaks, it is in cause, as would be familiar to this raven. But of course she hears back common, in that way that magical translation must do, you know? And so she asks, how long have you been here?
And the bird kind of blinks and like extends up a little, like, what? And it looks and it says, "Oh, so you're not completely foolish after all. I was wondering when you were going to stop with all that human speak nonsense."
I agree. It can be a little complicated and annoying to deal with, but now we can talk like proper equals here. I know that you were here before I was, so I'm just wondering how long you've made this place your home.
Long enough to know that it belongs to me. Me and the ghost downstairs, anyway. But we've agreed we're going to tolerate your presence for now.
Do you speak to the ghost or have any interaction with him?
Of course, we're roommates after all, and have been for some time.
I see. I don't suppose you saw anything before that explosion, did you?
All that noise and ruckus the other day.
Or after?
No, I try to avoid loud noises, things like that. I'm always being chased away. I've got a good thing here. No need to go sticking my beak in other people's business.
And certainly I'm not planning to chase you out. I'd much rather have you here. More company, the better.
I should say not. I've done you the honor of allowing you to sleep in my room.
Exactly.
Good, I'm glad we're in agreement.
I know how it is to need a little bit of your own personal space. It can get a little prickly when things are moving around a lot. I appreciate that you let me share yours.
And it gives you an imperious, like, yes, very good. Little nod of the head.
Yes. So is there anything about this house that I should know other than the ghost, obviously, if we're going to be roommates, that is?
Well, you've missed out on the best part. You and your friends have ransacked every other room in the house. I was trying to show you the other day, but... And he looks over towards the like tower. You haven't even seen the top floor.
There's further to go?
A trapdoor in the ceiling of the other room.
Oh. Well, that could be useful. Why don't you show me where?
For me, it's out the window and then up. But for you, with your arms and your legs, you'll have to climb.
Rin like almost sighs regretfully at
Yeah,
that. Like,
right.
Used to be very similar to you, some time ago. Wings much more convenient. Like, so where is the trapdoor? In the ceiling here, or?
Gestures to the like with his head towards
the
the tower, and then flies out the window.
Yeah.
And then around and back in the other window because he can't open the door and the door's shut. So he just goes outside and comes back inside and waits for you. So you open the door and he's just sitting there on one of the like broken pieces of furniture you haven't thrown out yet. And he looks up and he says, right up there.
Well, all right. Might be a little bit of a climb, I suppose.
And he looks at you like that's a word he doesn't know.
Without wings, I have to get up there somehow, which means going up the side or stacking things or using rope, something like that.
It must be so hard to be you.
Oh, it is very frustrating, yes.
Well,
it's been a while since I've been this frustrated by it, in fact, and talking to you brings things back, all I have to say. Wizards. And like how far up is it?
You can't reach it standing.
I can't reach it.
Yeah, and there's no little dangling like thing. You could install one, but like you see the trapdoor now that you look at it.
Okay.
Eight might be able to reach.
Yeah, I say excuse me for just one moment. I'll be right back.
You are dismissed.
And I leave on the dismissal and go to find wherever 8 is, whatever 8's doing.
Okay. Where is 8? 8, are you in the study? Are you reading your chivalry book?
I'm finishing. I've got the library door, the library windows open, and Makaria's new cloak is like tied up and like drying off like, in the window. So I turn around like I've just hung it over like a string or something I put on the sill.
Okay.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Is it still red?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a different color of red. It was like a filthy red before.
I just wonder if 8 had the presence of mind to dye it black. That's all.
Oh, I don't imagine.
I don't have any dye right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I find you there, and I go 8. If I might have just a moment of your time, if you're not busy.
Not really.
Please come with me. There's a door we haven't looked in.
Interesting.
My new friend, whose name I have to ask, very impolite of me not to do so.
Yes.
Found, or knew of this trap door. So come to the tower and see if you can open it. Very least, I can't reach it. It's the issue.
Okay.
And so we like go back.
Okay.
Yeah, go back over to the tower with 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you come back in.
Oh.
All right, I brought help.
Yes, I see it. Now.
Yeah, you want to reach up and you can get your fingers in there and pull it open. Yeah, you can reach it. You're tall enough. While you're doing that, the bird is making a bunch of noise. Rin, you understand that noise. So he's saying to you, he's like, it's always important to have good servants, useful tools to solve problems for you. But I have to tell you, and we need to talk about this, I don't feel comfortable having a cat in the house.
She's a little bit unsettling, isn't she?
You have
and
no
I'm speaking
idea.
in like raven language here,
Yeah.
back to him, like cawing at this bird. A little bit unsettling, but she's really very friendly, honestly.
The
as
knife, knife is always pretty till you find it in your back.
Well, I'll make sure that she knows of your discomfort. Shall I?
No, don't do that. She'll think me weak, and then come stalking in the night.
Yes, good point. Good point. I haven't asked, and I should have earlier in this conversation, but what is your name, sir?
And cocks his head. What do you mean?
Oh, I suppose it is a silly question, isn't it? What should I call you?
It's just kind of like
had I the need to call you out individually from a group of similar creatures? What word would I
It's just kind of like the whole concept of having to have like a unique identifier just doesn't make any fucking sense to it.
No.
And it's just kind of like, what? I don't. You're speaking
Never mind.
nonsense.
Human contrivances. My name is Rin. Doesn't matter. I, like turn back to 8. Like look up at the trap door. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and so 8 has opened
Much
it, and it's one of those trapdoors that's like flush with the ceiling, but when you tilt it, the ladder, there's like a ladder that 8 can pull
Okay.
down.
Sorry. Yeah. I suppose we should take a look. Like
8, you're pretty sure if you try to climb this ladder, the ladder would break.
Yeah. I'll wait here to see what you find. That
All
is thin wood.
I'll take a look and climb up the ladder if I can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you climb up there. So you find yourself in the turret peak. So this is small, little, like not even a room.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Like a little...
But yeah, it's like there's windows. They're shuttered on all sides. There's like a peaked ceiling. I'm gonna try and find the picture of Troll Skull Manor so we can kind of see it. Yeah, you can totally see it in that picture. So it's that thing up front. That's where your room is, the one down by that green little turret up there. So it's got that window in the front. And so I'll show chat. Here, chat, check it out. There it is. So yeah, so you can see it's this little bit kind of right up front in the center. And yeah, and from up here, if you open the little like windows, you can look out and you have like the best view from all of Troll Skull Manor. And it's like a little nest. It's small and it's high up. And like you can look down and you see people walking around in the street and they're like, 40 feet away down below. So, yeah, how do you respond? What do you do?
Rand sort of like looks, like opens the shutters and sees all this out in front of her and like looks down and everything. And then, like almost steps like a little bit too far forward. There's a moment of like, oh, I'm up high.
Mhm.
Like, and it's really like, it's sort of exciting, and she steps a little bit too far forward. And like one of her feet goes slightly over the edge of the possible floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then she realizes kind of like that she's moved a little bit too, because she's trying to like not see the house, right?
Yeah.
Like put that away. I want to just see like out and high,
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of like realizes what she's doing and steps back, and the moment sort of passes. And she looks down the ladder and just says, it's just a window, basically. A small room up here. You can see a lot from up here. But other than that, nothing special.
There's a fluttering of feathers as the raven lands on the windowsill and looks up at you and says, "There we are. Now you know. You've got the tallest tower in all the building, which makes you the boss. I mean, under me, of course. You can be the boss of your ugly friends."
They say to know how to lead, you have to learn how to follow first. Have you done any following?
Kind of like looks at you. Of course not.
Well, I've spent a great deal of time studying under great teachers. And so I suppose another teacher is just fine.
Yeah. And it kind of like nods and like puffs its chest up a little bit, and it says, "Well, your lack of feathers is a bit disturbing, but we'll see what we can do with you."
I did have feathers, I'm familiar with feathers. 10 years of feathers. Just like you.
And it just gives you a look like, "I'm sure. You're just saying that to seem cool."
Like rolls her eyes a little bit like, okay, believe me or not, I get your smug tone. Go back down the ladder and
Okay.
And like
Cool.
leave it sort of with the ladder down so I don't have to.
You can climb back up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're sure you still want that strange looking peg creature?
It's a bird. It's a bird. 8. Raven. And yes,
It has
yeah,
evil
they're,
eyes.
they're very intelligent and very familiar to me.
It's
And
a good joke. All right. So, Rin, take inspiration, obviously for
Sweet.
that. Makaria and Jewel, what are the two of you doing
Yeah.
while Rin is getting this room?
sorry, that one took a little.
Square.
I'm trying to
No, it's
tempt
cool.
Jewel into day drinking with me.
You're like, what should we do today while we wait for this guy to come back? And you're
Oh,
just
look,
like,
I have this bottle right
yeah, you're
here.
like, just get fucked up.
I think Jewel doesn't take a ton of convincing for like a drink, but she will not consume nearly as much as
Okay. Can I make a sleight of hand check to try and just like keep filling your drink when you're not looking?
I feel
So
like
that you're drinking more than you think you
I
are.
feel like that probably wouldn't work. Like you'd notice at some point. Like
I mean, I know it's not gonna
That was
work.
my drink full after I drank some of my drink.
yeah,
No.
like Makaria, don't bother rolling, but you can think you're being sneaky. Sure.
Okay, I'm thinking I'm being. I mean, I have a -1 to sleight of hand anyway,
Yeah, you're already terrible.
but I just wanted to try. It's fine.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to get someone drunk with me. I'm feeling lonely, and the ghost won't drink. So.
Yeah, it's a ghost.
And
It can't.
and I definitely do. I get out. I assume by now we have like glasses, or I've
No,
obtained glasses.
you haven't bought anything. You still
What are you
live
talking
in
about? Where
No.
like?
you still live in a shithole. You haven't spent any of your money to make it better.
Wow, rude.
You don't just spontaneously get stuff. Like try moving into a house and not have any furniture and just wait for it to spontaneously
I
appear.
definitely think one of my downtimes is going to be, or downtimes, quote unquote, but like while we have some time, is going to be to go to the furniture guy. I've got like 100 gold.
I can't have like bought.
No, I mean you can, but you have to spend money for that. You can't just have it for free.
Okay, well, how much is a fucking set of glasses?
Like regular, just like glassware. I mean, it's
No.
not mass produced, so it would be more. Glass is more expensive. Do you want glass? Or you want to buy like?
Does this module not
tankards?
come with a list of how much money you need to spend to upgrade?
It does.
Your
Yeah,
you-
but it's not as granular as do we have cups?
Do you know what else does that is Adventurers League legal? Is Durnan's Guide to Tavern Keeping on the DM's Guild.
Does it have individual cup prices?
all of this shit?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
like
I gotta get a hold of
everything.
that. All right, we're gonna put a pin in Makari's plan, and I'm gonna make a note to pick that up.
Cool. Then I don't have cups. Fine. I fuck all of this. I don't care.
Just cranky. Listen, it's not my fault
Aw.
you're hungover all the time.
You just drink from a bottle.
I'm
Okay.
trying to share with a ghost. You can't ask a ghost to drink from the bottle.
You
Elf.
can, it just might
Come
not
on.
work very well.
Jewel will watch most of this with humor and is just probably antsy because she's like, I can't go to the Blackstaff on my own, and Rin's talking to a bird, so I probably shouldn't be there.
Oh, you want to go to the Black Staff? I'll go with you.
So she's probably just cleaning. I think that's Jewel's just cleaning. That's what they do when there isn't anything else to do.
Are you sure you don't want to go to the Black Staff with me?
I feel like we should all go to the Blackstaff together.
Well, that sounds boring.
Wow.
I love that the presence of myself in 8 is boring.
Well, I mean, you know as well as I do that Rin is the talker and doesn't let Makaria get into any kind of trouble. So,
Sorry, that's because you're gonna try and sneak onto their roof.
what? No, that's what you talking.
We all know you
What
just
we
want to
should
go there
do
because you
is
think you're
plan
going to
a
see your dead
long-term
boyfriend.
Where we steal you a griffin and then you can just fly to their roof.
Yes, can we do that right now?
You can think about it.
I want a griffin.
Do you have what's your bonus to animal handling? Like -2?
My bonus to animal handling is 3. Excuse me, I have wisdom.
Makaria is killed and eaten by a griffin. Okay.
Plus 3, not -3.
It's fine. Listen, the goblin's got like 30 dexterity. You'll never catch him. All right. So, you have this day. What does the group decide to do with their day today with your leads that you have?
Well, Davil doesn't like me, so
I think
When
you don't
8
like
comes
him.
downstairs, Jules gonna be like, do you want to go see if we can find out anything about the one who was on the roof? The other metal person?
Yes. Though I'm not sure Yes.
You're not sure about what?
Things may get complicated if there is another of my kind here.
Will it get complicated if we know or if we don't know? Will knowing change the level of complication?
Well, it will depend entirely upon whose allegiance they were before they came here.
But if we don't know, will it still be dependent on that? Is there a reason we shouldn't know?
No.
Excellent. She just goes out the door.
Perfect.
So at some point she's gonna try and like sneak around and climb up the other side of the building, probably wherever the city guard are watching. See if she can find anything on the roof.
Oh, so the two of you go outside and
Yeah.
Now the city guard's not like around. You can kind of like look around the area. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
She fucked this up last time, but
Yeah.
just
Okay. So you clamber on up there and take a look around. Make an investigation check.
okay. I don't think she's gonna take however much time it needs to take, but I will still roll my investigation. I'm gonna use my inspiration on this.
Sure.
Because at some point I want to find something. Good. Great. I got 2 13s, so a total of 15. Exact same number on both dice.
So it looks to you as it did before. Like someone was up here and they were like skulking around, and then they fled. But there isn't really any like trail you can pick up. If you want, you can ask me some questions. But it may not be the easiest thing to simply like chase someone or like, there's no like footprints up here or anything.
Yeah, they didn't leave anything behind.
No, not that you can see.
Okay. Is there any clear, like, kind of just getting an idea of like how heavy, like, did they break any, like when they stood on stuff, were they heavy enough that they broke tiles on the roof?
I mean, there are a few tiles that are like out of place.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you don't. It doesn't look like they were heavy. Not like 8. Like 8 tromp around up here would be one thing, but this is not.
Yeah. That's kind of what she's like. Are they bigger or smaller than 8? And then trying to get like an idea of like sight lines, like who might have been able to see them up here.
Unless you're standing like leaning over the edge of the building, there's no like it's easy to hide up here. Because the center of the building, unless you're looking from above or
Roofs
across,
are great that way.
Yeah, right. You appreciate this approach. Like if it were you, you would also have thrown a fireball from the roof.
This is where I would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Roofs are great. I like roofs.
Yeah, totally.
Spend more time on
Obviously, the work of an immaculate professional.
She'll probably make the guess that they would have gone up and down like the back side of the building, the same one that she came on, that she would have come up, because otherwise someone would have seen them climb on the roof. But if there's any evidence that like they did any roof hopping, that would be the other thing she'd look for.
Whoever it was, if that is the case, like if it were you, you wouldn't drop to the streets, right? Because like there's not a lot of this is a neighborhood of like very large buildings. It's not like the dock ward where everything's all jammed together and like leaning on each other. There's no good alleys. You've noticed that being in this neighborhood a few days now. There's no good alleys. If you get in trouble, there's nowhere to run to. So they almost certainly leapt from building to building, which means they've got a pretty good jump capability on them, because they're like there's some pretty again not all this stuff crammed together. So they have to be able. They have to be able to jump really well, and it looks like they're pretty light because you don't see any like deep footprints or like shattered tiles. Yeah, it's not like the tick up here like leaping and smashing onto the side. Like they're light and nimble.
None of the Superman shit.
Yeah, that's right.
No like craters. She'll just try and get an idea of like what would have been the best, like if I was going to sneak onto this particular roof or I was following someone via the roof, where might I have come from? Because if they were likely as they were probably following the person who was running and they were following along the roof is her guess. So she'll just kind of try and roughly backtrack like what direction was that coming from, and then put that in her pocket for later.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's not clear, right? Like you know the scene of the crime, but there's no indication of which direction like they came from before it happened. You're just standing up here, kind of admiring the like if I could jump really like pretty well, this would be pretty easy to get around. Yeah.
So she'll clamber back down and pass that onto 8 and be like, are there smaller versions of you or are they all large?
Well,
Looking up.
They did build creatures of my type for different jobs. There were designations of skirmishers. They were known to be fast, light, dexterous. Perhaps it could be one of those.
Well, it definitely wasn't someone as substantial as you. They would have made more of a mess up there. So it's still possible. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
As I say, we'll have to see. Though I'm still not. How likely it is for another one of me to be here, despite me not knowing how I came to be here myself, puts me at a disadvantage of calculating such an occurrence.
Yeah. I feel like you're missing some information. Well, we can keep looking around, asking around. Maybe someone has seen them. They were probably chasing that gnome for some reason. So they would still be our best bet. Besides, that gnome had something. I want that orb. Sounds really cool. Stone. I don't. It's probably an orb. Most stones are orbs.
I would say it's reasonable. It's reasonable to assume that a cool magical artifact is probably an orb. Orbs are very popular among cool magic artifact crafters.
Who makes a stone into any other non-spherical shape?
Exactly. You got to be able to clutch it. Okay, so Jewel, you've lived in Waterdeep a while. Can you make a history check for me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. No, I can't.
All right. You're just clueless. You're just like
For the 3.
You're very focused on this like it must be just like 8. That's definitely what it is. Yep.
Well, she doesn't know about other metal creatures. 8 is the sum total of her experience. So therefore,
yeah, totally reasonable.
Logic dictates.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess everybody probably gathers up again in the like main room to decide what to do next.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Let's go to the Black Staff.
Of course, we could go and see her. Yeah.
The Black Staff doesn't like me, and I don't like her much either.
You tell her.
Macaria, you don't like anyone.
I like you.
Oh.
Like Jewel stops for a minute.
And she grimaces a little.
Do you want to make a deception check, Macaria?
Yeah, yes, I would love to do that.
Wow, I like you.
Do you
That's
make that smile like Wednesday Addams?
Okay.
I get a 13.
Jewel, make an insight check.
I will. Does Macaria like me?
Check yes or no.
13.
No, that's a bullshit lie. She is lying to your face.
Jewel pretends that Macaria likes her. Like, oh, that's so nice.
All right, Jewel, now you make a deception check.
Macaria, you didn't happen to learn anything last night, did you?
Okay, Macaria, make an insight check. Hold on, we're trying to see if they're friends or not. It's very important.
I think that Jewel believes me.
Perfect.
Jewel is slightly better at lying than Macaria.
Learn anything? What do you mean learn anything? I got rip-roaring drunk and then I came back home.
So no, you didn't then. Okay.
Why would I?
Because
I learned that the person who replaces Durnan in the late evening is the worst bartender I've ever seen. She tried to get me to go to an Ilmater thing to stop drinking. It was awful.
Yes. Awful. I just assumed that maybe you talked to some people while you were there.
I talked to the bartender.
All right. Well, never mind then. We need to learn more about this stone. So the Black Staff is a good bet. But who knows if she'll have time to see us. Yes. No.
Very well.
We don't need to talk to her. We just need to use their stuff.
True.
Like they have a library. It's probably organized. I'm sure we could just go stone. Gee.
Yes. Well, I'm sure now that you're all best friends with the black staff, you'll have no trouble at all getting help there. And she's like a little bit like, man, I tried to see Dapple and he wouldn't talk to me.
My NPC's not as nice as your
We
NPC.
are merely initiates in this thing. I've been overstating our rank to almost everyone we've met. I wouldn't worry too much about whether or not our help will be specifically from the hand of the black staff or not. Let's go then. May as well try it.
Okay. All right. So you head to the Blackstaff Tower to meet with Vajra Safar. Okay. All right. Yeah, Vajra's a busy lady, but I think we can cut to like a meeting with her. Sure.
Sweet.
So you've just been let in. I think she's in another, like you walk in and this place is different every time you go in. This time you find yourselves in a room that has a sort of quiet to it. There are rows of candlesticks leading up to a pool of water at the end, a big stone bowl of water at the end of this room. The room is all kind of like blue, like the walls are like blue mural, and then there's the dull orange glow from all the candles. There's a hushed kind of like tone. There's some people here sitting, talking to each other, and you notice there are a few people in like blue robes that are sort of tending to some of the folks in here.
Are you sure that it's not blue and black in the surveilling room?
I'm sure that it is not. But you're brought here, and you see Vajra talking to a man. He's got a shaved head and these blue robes, and he has around his neck a holy symbol, a brass holy symbol of like it's an eye with a candle on top of it. And they're just talking.
Can I make a religion check?
Yeah, please.
18. What's that eye about?
Okay. The eye is the holy symbol of the god Denir. Denir is known as the scribe of Ogma, and is a deity of cartography, glyphs, images, knowledge, literature, and scholars.
Sounds boring.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Denir, not Demir. So you walk in and Vajra is talking to this guy, and then she sees you, and she comes over, and today she's dressed less like adventure-y and more like scholarly. Like she's got robes on. She's holding a big book in her hand, and she walks over, and she says, "I hadn't expected to see you all again so soon."
We ran into a little bit of a snag in terms of what we were looking for. So we thought best to come to you and ask for advice, knowledge.
A little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. What do you need to know about?
The Stone of Galore.
Make an insight check.
Sure.
Oh, did you know that Denir's favorite animals to manifest as? One of them's a calico cat.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you say the Stone of Galore, and she shakes her head, and she says, I've never heard of it. What is it?
An object of some value, I think, that has been making the rounds in the wrong hands here in Waterdeep.
Dangerous artifacts in the wrong hands are precisely the sort of thing I'm interested in. Stone of Galore, eh?
Something to do with sea creature. I read something about it a long time ago, but I can't remember. Those things to the mind, back and forth. All that.
You have a library we can borrow.
She says, the library is for initiates only.
No.
I can't just let anyone go wandering around in there.
Well, that seems like a waste of knowledge.
I thought you were initiates. A lot of you. I mean.
I think she means mage initiates, not.
Oh.
She says that's the trick about knowing things. You have to know what sorts of things are dangerous and which aren't. And to be perfectly honest, it takes some time to figure out one from the other. So you'll forgive me if I can't just open the doors to the library and let you dig around. Besides, I haven't even taken a full, and she looks over at the scholar priest, and she says, I haven't even taken a full account of these. There's sub-basements on sub-basements around here. So I'll look into it, or have someone do so. But I can't let you just run around. Not yet, anyway.
Fair enough.
I have
Appreciate-
one.
Oh, hey, please.
I have one other line of questioning, if you would be so kind.
Yeah, of course.
Have there been any reports of creatures like myself, or the things that might be mistaken?
It's my suspicion.
Yeah.
It's my suspicion, that you're unique, at least around here. But I think I catch your meaning. If you're looking for things like yourself, at least things that look like you, the House of Inspired Hands is where you're going to look. Do you know of it?
I do not.
Suddenly, the table is awash with the sound of people rolling history checks. Anyone who lives in Waterdeep, Makari, you can make a religion check.
History check.
Yeah,
I'm
history
gonna
and
guess.
religion checks from anybody who's
18.
Temple
Alright.
of Gand.
Way better than my last one.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, even with the 11 Rin, like you know. So the House of Inspired Hands is Waterdeep's great Temple of Gand. It sits on the corner of Seawatch Street and Shark Street in the Sea Ward, and as with many temples of Gand, it contains wonders and delights. Because Gand is an inventor god. Gand is a god who makes strange things. And some temples of Gand are like built for industry, right? Brass tubing and, furnaces. But this place, the House of Inspired Hands, they like making weird things. And it would not at all be unusual to find a clockwork man in their employ, especially. And it's not the right season for it, but especially because the Day of Wonders parade often features marching automatons, some in the shape of humans.
Does that happen like on the equivalent of Thanksgiving?
Yes, I guess
Like
it
a
would.
Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah, it's a parade in autumn. So yeah, I think it probably is. Yeah. The Day of Wonders. Yeah. They fill up massive
deep parade.
bladders with like gas lighter than air, and they float it down the main street of Waterdeep. Yeah.
Macaria mutters something about useless gods of like knowledge and invention, like under her breath.
Oh, maybe that's where the person came from.
It's a good
You
bet.
want to go 8? They're useless to us here.
True.
I suppose we should.
So
They'll be
Vajra
I'll be very
says,
interested in you.
yeah, Vajra says, before you go running off to the House of Inspired Hands, maybe it's fortuitous that you arrived here today. I have an errand I need you to run for me.
Very well. What is it?
She says,
You agreed before she even asked.
Yes.
and
So you're just
she turns to look at you, Macaria, and she says, I'm sorry, priestess. I was speaking to my initiates, the Grey Hand. If you'd like, you can find yourself a way out. Any door will do. I promise you'll find yourself back in the street. There's a tavern
sure
some blocks
thing.
from here.
Oh, curses, blah blah.
Do you leave?
Yes, and I slam the door behind me.
So you open the door and you step out, and you find yourself in like a smelly alley somewhere in the city.
I hate her. I hate her so much.
Yeah,
You hate everyone, Makaria.
you've no idea where you are. You like almost step in a puddle of pee, and you're just like, God damn it! And you like walk out into this like random alley.
I mean, I've lived here my whole life. I'm sure I'll find a street I recognize.
You'll figure it out. Yeah, you'll find street signs, but
it's totally here. I'll make everyone a portal back to Shatrath after the raid.
Swap of sorrows.
yeah. So so you just find yourself in the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, Rin, 8, and Jewel, the Blackstaff, she has a satchel at her side, and she says, hang on, I've got something you're going to need. And she like reaches into her bag, and her hand goes into her wrist and then goes into the shoulder, and she's like, it's in here somewhere. She like opens the bag and like reaches in, and like her whole arm disappears. She's like, there we go. And she pulls out a bandolier of potions, little like potion bandolier, and on it there are 4 potions that look like slightly bluish carbonated water. There's like bubbles floating around in them and like spontaneously kind of generating. And she holds the bandolier out to you, Rin, and she says, you're going to need this. There's a dragon in Deepwater Harbor. Not one of the scary ones. It's a bronze dragon, but he's been startling sailors. It hasn't hurt anybody, but a dragon that big.
Can I Arcana bronze dragon?
Yes, yeah, please do. Yeah. A dragon that big floating around in the harbor. Well, we need to go out there and find out what it's doing there. So take the potions and, get your feet wet. Find this dragon and see what it's doing in the harbor. And then come back here and let me know.
But she says, get your feet wet, like Jewel scowls and like just like, oh no.
Yeah, get in there and just hoist that fucker out of there.
I think you only need provide us with 3. I wouldn't want you to waste it otherwise.
And she looks at you and she says, oh, I suppose that's true. Well, keep the extra. You never know when being able to breathe underwater might come in handy.
True enough.
So bronze dragons are coastal dwellers that feed primarily on aquatic plants and fish. They often take the form of friendly animals to observe other creatures of interest. They're fascinated by warfare and eagerly join armies fighting for a just cause. So they're like, they spend some of their time underwater and some of their time flying around.
So what you're telling me is bronze dragons are the Aquaman of DC.
Yes, they're the Aquaman of dragons. That's right. Yeah. So there you go. Metallic dragons are the nice kind.
Yeah, they're like the good guy dragons, quote unquote.
This is what they look like. They look like that. Look at that pretty boy. And yeah, they're the good guy dragons.
How
It's so
old is
cute.
this- how large is this dragon? Do we know?
I mean, not so big you could see it from the shore, but a dragon's a dragon.
So not a very young dragon.
Well, you wouldn't
either.
want people judging you for being short, would you? You can get out there and talk to the dragon. It's more his attitude than his age I'm concerned with.
People have judged me for far worse.
I don't like anything about this.
She shrugs and she's like, try being the Blackstaff. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll ask around about this stone of galore, but you go and deal with my dragon, and then let me know.
Will do.
And-
Always at your disposal.
Rin,
Yes.
I'm worried about your friend.
Makaria?
Not for her. Worried about us because of her.
I agree.
It's just, she's young, and Merkel's dangerous. A dark shadow. Him and his friends caused this place a lot of trouble in the past. And as much as I admire my forebears, I don't want to have to deal with the return of some horrible dead god.
But if my history lessons are correct, Merkel is, as you say, nothing but a shadow anymore.
This is Faerun, Rin. Gods come back to life all the time.
Fair enough. Well, I'll keep an eye on things much as I can. I can't stop her from worshipping as she worships, nor would I want to involve myself in that directly. We don't know each other very well, honestly. But she's been helpful, so...
I don't begrudge you having allies that are hard to manage, but I just worry that she's going to end up making friends with the wrong people who are going to give her opportunities that a person like that shouldn't have.
If there's one thing I've learned about Makaria, it's that she's terrible at making friends. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
She'll probably get kicked out of the Zentarum soon enough.
And that's putting it, that's a hopeful, optimistic outlook.
She has, so she nods and she says, it's easy to disregard these sorts of things, but she has power. You've seen it. There is a connection there. Dead or not, Merkel is giving her abilities that are dangerous, deadly even.
She's also used it to bring us back to life, so...
She shrugs and she says, I'm not going to tell you who to be friends with or not. I'm just saying, Merkel is dangerous. Makaria could be dangerous.
I'll keep an eye on things, and let you know if there's any real issue.
Have you ever thought about taking her to the Temple of Kelemvor? Having a real Kelemvorite talk to her, because maybe...
She used to live there.
She says that.
No, she actually did.
She shakes her head and she says, I wouldn't trust anything that girl says. Anyway, I'm not trying to worry you for nothing. I just keep an eye on things, please.
Well, I'll see if we can make an excursion that way. But dragon, I think, sounds like a pressing issue.
She smiles when you say that, and she says, have you ever met one before?
Not in person. I have spoken or been involved in a conversation with one or two.
She says, well, you've got quite the afternoon ahead of you. Have fun.
Yes, fun.
And she turns around to go and attend to whatever it is. And when you leave, the three of you head out. Now, Makaria, you've had about 10 minutes to wander around. Where have you gone? Do you just go to the nearest tavern, or?
I mean, okay. This is very un-Makaria thing to do, considering that she's probably the instant someone slights her, you're dead. I'm going to kill you eventually.
Yeah. Cool. You want to roll initiative?
Well, in terms of the actual storyline, I can't just I really the Zentarum is something I'm actually interested in being told no one time. It doesn't make much sense for me to be well, I'm done with you now.
Yeah, no, totally.
Well, and part of it, Makaria is not an idiot. Part of it is them testing you, right? Being you need to learn your place. We're a family and you're the baby sister. Well, your wisdom is really high, right?
Yes, it is. It is very good.
So whether you acknowledge it or whatever, in your heart of hearts, in your brain, you know what's going on. You know you're being tested, right? You're the person that shows up on the doorstep of the Shaolin Temple and they beat you with brooms and tell you to fuck off. And you're like, no, I must learn Kung Fu. You have the willpower to suffer through that. Even if you hate them for it, you know that's what's happening.
Okay, well, the yawning portal is a big fucking deal, and you could probably get to it from any place in the city. So that's the landmark.
So you just start heading
towards. Yeah.
Okay.
She still has important information.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you turn around, start heading towards there, and I think you're walking down the street, and you're up on the kind of sidewalk area. There aren't proper sidewalks, but you're against the side, and you're walking by a potter's shop, and the door swings open, and Rin and 8 and Jewel step out right in front of you in the street.
Oh, Makaria.
How is your new best friend?
Apparently we have to go and talk to a dragon.
Lovely. I hope it eats you all.
Hey, you don't want to come? Dragon. Power. Dragon.
Dragons are pretty cool.
What kind of dragon?
Bronze. War and violence.
Well,
I should underwater.
And water.
I like that everyone else is oh God, it's a dragon, and you're oh God, it's a water.
Whatever. Dragons, whatever. She gets them. They want to steal shit. Water. Big nope.
Well, I guess you'll all die without me anyway. Not that that would be a disappointment. I just want to be there, you know.
I love that every time she says stuff like that, she has to be like, not that I don't not care or whatever.
Tsundere as hell.
Yeah.
I don't even want to
It's
be
not
in this
that I
party,
don't-
Baka.
Not that I even like you, Baka.
Yep.
So I have some potions. I like heft the bandolier. We drink them. We breathe underwater. We find the dragon.
You know how long they last?
If I had to hazard a guess, maybe an hour, maybe a little more.
Yeah, if you had to guess, it would you would guess that it lasts for exactly an hour, in fact.
That's what I would guess.
Well, I don't know how far this dragon is supposed to be, but perhaps we should charter a boat to get us a bit closer before we waft the potions.
It's supposedly just in the bay. So.
Yes, it's a large bay.
Yeah, let's take a look at the map of Waterdeep, shall we? Let me drag you over there.
Adam, I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Do I float because of the wooden parts in me, or do I sink because I'm like 250 pounds?
I think you would I mean, it's like a human, like somewhere in the middle, like you could still drown.
Well,
I mean, you can't drown, but like, yes.
I want to know if I'd turn me and just like walk on.
No, I think in the absence of detail about that stuff, you're you're a human. Yeah, we have to treat you as if you were similar to a human. So let's see. The bay, I believe that they're referring to. Let me double check here. Is, let's see, Deepwater Harbor, which I guess is down here. There's a lot of there's only one harbor, so it's got to be down.
I'm still on the Waterdeep Dragon High screen.
Down here. Let me grab you. Whoop. There you go.
Okay, so you said the bay.
Yeah, down there somewhere in the Great Harbor.
Yep, it's pretty big.
But it's been scaring sailors, so maybe somebody.
I mean, knows where it's at. We just gotta go talk to someone. Yes, okay, you might be right. Find someone who can bring us to the right place.
Honestly, if people are annoyed by the dragon enough, they might just be willing to take us there without us having to
What I
pay
was
for the
thinking.
boat.
If it's causing enough problems, we may be able to convince someone to help us.
Do I have to get in the water?
Yes.
Wait, you mean your great friend Vajra didn't already charter a boat for you?
No, she gives the potions.
Such a bitter asshole.
What
Makaria.
is your great friend done for you recently?
Which great friend are you referring to?
I don't know any of them. Any friend I
Us,
have, a single friend. Name one.
Aren't I your friend, Makaria?
Yes, Jewel. What have you done for me recently, Jewel?
Probably kept you
Honestly.
alive. I got you that drink. It did turn out to be water, but I did get it for you.
I imagine you're having this conversation as you're like walking down.
We're walking.
Yeah. Unless you wanted to go to the yawning portal, Blue Jay, for
Not now that you're here.
Okay, I see. Fuck.
So snarky. What's funny is that if it had gone the other way, she would be intolerably smug about it too. So it's like you don't win. You can't win with Makaria. She's either like pouty
it's fine.
or
I don't
over
care.
like thinks she's so great. I love her. She's
It's all
ridiculous.
good.
What an asshole. Okay, so you want to charter a boat because Deepwater is over here, so it's probably like somewhere in there.
Yeah, the thought was like where the sailors have been getting annoyed, we want to go there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I think we montage, right? We don't need to play out every little thing. But we have like a scene of you talking to some sailors and they're like pointing at the water and like, it was this big, like terrifying dragon, like, you know, and like we get some music playing and we cut to another one where you're giving some coins over to probably the same boatman that we saw in the Adventurers League, the like wizened old one-eyed boatman wearing a raincoat in the middle of the day, and it's like summer, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take you across the Great Harbor," and you're getting in his boat, and he's like paddling you out there, and then what's the plan? Like, are you gonna just like you get a pretty good idea of where the dragon has been spotted, kind of
assuming
like
we have gotten information
in this area.
Once we get to that point, it's hop out and drink the potions and swim down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you just like jump in the water. It's gonna get
By the
dark
way-
under there. So you're all on the boat, and the old man is just like he gets you out to where and he says he's like, yeah, I think you just come to a stop, and you're just kind of like washing back and forth. You can hear like
Hereabouts where we've heard of a dragon.
Would appreciate if you don't go too far. We'll be back in hopefully shortly.
he squints at you with his one good eye, and he says, "Yar, beware of the depths. Strange creatures dwell within.
I'm just gonna like
Strange creatures, the likes of which you've never seen before.
How old are you?
Yar, I be 32.
I've just realized, of course, that I'm carrying a bunch of stuff that I don't want to bring underwater. So can sometime during that montage, can I have left it like not on this fucking boat?
Sure.
Great. Okay. Cool. All my paper is safe.
Okay.
I assume we're having him stay here.
Yeah, that's what I
back.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he's got an anchor.
But I don't know if this guy's little boat will get fucked up by a dragon.
He's got his little anchor, and he's gonna throw it in the water, and he'll hang out here.
Yep. Well, I suppose now is as good a time as any.
Last chance, Jewel. Do you want to just stay on the boat?
And you look over at the old man. He's thrown the anchor overboard, and he's got like he's got a scroll like he's pulled out under his arm. He's taking the scroll out of a bag, and it's got a little like wax seal on it. And he says, "You're welcome to stay with me up here. I was going to catch up on my reading."
She kind of eyes the sailor, and then she just like looks down in the water and looks back at Makari and like, dragons normally have hordes.
So I take
like
one of the
stuff.
potions out of the bandolier, Adam.
Mhm.
I uncork it,
Okay,
and I just
you drink it.
drink
okay,
it
All right.
real good.
You
I
feel.
can't imagine it tastes very good, and I can't imagine
Okay,
the
so
air is particularly good. afterward.
Imagine if you will, a LaCroix flavor, but like nori flavored LaCroix.
Like nori flavored
Yeah.
LaCroix.
Tastes
Oh my-
like seaweed flavored LaCroix.
yeah,
Just
okay.
like the vaguest hint of seaweed in carbonated water.
Yeah, great. I drink it. I drink
Okay.
it all down because
You
I don't
hiccup
wanna,
once or
like, renew
twice?
it. Like make a face and then like hold my breath because I'm like
Because you can't help it.
okay, and like step over the side of the boat basically
Yeah, you
with
splash
the like
down in the water.
traditional sort of like just straight down, hold my nose, like yeah, plunge.
Okay.
And I of course I give off the bandolier to
Yeah.
the person.
Okay. So Makaria and Jewel and 8, are y'all gonna follow suit?
Yeah, Jewel knockers back, like, leaves all the things that she doesn't want to get wet and just like
Submersible cat person.
just sort of looks at the water and like has like a mental conversation with like,
I push you. I push you off the boat.
yeah, you push her in the water.
Yeah. And you fall in the water. It's just a big
flail
splash.
a lot.
Oh.
And then she like reaches up and grabs Makari.
He yanks your ankle, and Makaria tumbles over, and the ship is tilting back and forth.
And then she'll dive after Rin.
Okay.
Yeah.
8, you're gonna. So it's just you and this old man. He looks at you.
Oh. Did we pay you?
And he's like, "Aye, your friend paid me before we left."
Right. I like look at the potion. I'm just like, just like put it in a backpack and then just like walk off the edge.
Okay. Splash! You step in the water and you start to sink. And yeah, the ripples on the surface kind of like start to calm. The boat like rocks back and forth gently, and we see the old man, and he takes out a knife, a little pocket knife, and he cuts the wax seal on the scroll. And we can see as he cuts it, the wax seal is it's in the shape of like a beautiful smiling woman's face with like red hair kind of like coming off the back. The symbol of the priesthood of Sune, goddess of beauty, and he cuts it. And as he unrolls the scroll, he's like, "Here," and he like opens it, and we catch just the barest like glimpse of some like hand drawn Sunite pornography as he's like, "Here," and we fade to black on that. So we'll take a short break here, and we'll come back and we'll see if things are better down where it's wetter under the sea. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.